Hey guys, it's Caedrel here. This is going to be my first ever YouTube video. Basically, what I'm going to be doing here is something called the thought process. What I'm going to be describing is what pro players are thinking in certain game states, why they do certain things on the map, and just giving you a little bit of insight as to what they're thinking in the moment and why they do certain plays reactively or proactively. So we're going to be doing a little bit of Lamont versus G2 of game 2. We're going to be going through the early game thought process of basically everyone in the game and just show to you guys how the map and the game state unfolds based on player movements and what they're thinking of in terms of making their plays. So I think when it comes to the early game, the most important thing is jungle. G2 actually leads in bot, so Lamont kind of knows that Jankos started bot side. Both junglers are kind of full clearing up. You can see Canyon does Raptors, Jankos does 3 camps into top side. Both junglers are pathing top basically because of the volatility of the lanes. If you look across the board, yes, bot's going to be a lot of trading, Ezreal is going to get pushed against the Ashe, but Fiora into Camille is a very snowballing matchup. And if G2 has mid prio, which they do on the side of caps, then it's really important that they contest top prio and they make sure that Wunder isn't having too much of a hard time in top side. The fact that Canyon knew Jankos started bot side is sort of important, but it doesn't tell the whole story, because Jankos could do blue gromp red and then path back into bot, and then their bot lane will be in danger because they have 2 pushing side. You see Canyon already stepping into river. This is super important what he's doing here. What he's actually doing is trying to spot out Jankos, because the problem he has on the map right now is both his sides are pushing, which is great, but if Jankos wasn't spotted, both sides would probably have to back off slowly and give up waves till they knew where Jankos was, for 2 reasons. First of all, Caps has the mid push, so Caps, if he pushes in this wave, he can go into fog of war, he can shadow bot side or top side, and then they have to back up and they need jungle assistance. So if he can spot out Kindred on the top side, then he knows his bot lane can crash the wave. If he spots out Kindred bot side, his top lane can crash the wave. It was really important to find Kindred in this game. He has sort of a losing jungle matchup early. Kindred does win, especially given the fact that he has mid prio, but the fact that he has 2 pushing side lanes is really important. The next thing I kind of want to touch on here is the fact that Jankos abandons the top side grab, and he knows that his bot side stack spawning, so he goes down there, takes the bot scuttle. I think that's really big for him, especially getting an early stack on Kindred, super important. But what I want to touch on is Beryl. The fact that Jankos ran through mid into bot side and Canyon communicated to Beryl that he's actually weak side right now, and you can see Canyon on the top side Krugs. Beryl actually sees an opportunity, and he thinks that knowing Jankos is in river, he can actually make a play on the weak side onto caps, because he knows that if he runs through his own jungle and sweeps into river and gets into the mid brush, he knows Jankos will be on the crab. As we go back around 10 seconds, what I want to highlight here is just caps in general. You can see both Showmaker and caps, look at their positioning in the lane. Caps is hugging bot side because Jankos is on the bot scuttle. That's basically what mid laners do in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game. They hug the side that their jungler's on to make sure that if they get ganked, they can run into the bot side of the map or the top side of the map where their jungler actually is, and then they can make it into a 2v2. Caps is actually playing really well here, hugging the bot side of the map. You can see Ghost has already backed off the wave. He's probably farming with his volley, his W, and Beryl's just sprinting mid. He knows that Caps is hugging bot side. He knows he has an opportunity here, and he knows he's on the weak side, but he knows it's still a play to be made. And I think that's just such an impressive thing and a really good thought process from Beryl, getting Caps' flash when his wave's actually slow pushing into Showmaker. Getting him to flash away like that is super big. And now, yes, Beryl does have to trade his flash because Jankos hops over the Dragon Pit. I think Beryl could have taken a safer route back to bot lane, but the whole concept of the play was just really intelligent, and I think that's something that I wanted to outline. So as we see the game progress, if we look at the map state in general, both junglers are still on opposite sides. They both know each other on opposite sides. Canyon knows Jankos' bot side, Jankos knows Canyon is top side, and Canyon is looking for a gank top here. The thing is, Nuguri took a bad trade. He knows he can't kill him, there's no CC. What he wants to do here is chunk him out because Wunder's already TP'd back, and then push in the wave, help Nuguri base together as top jungle, which is a very common thing in the early game, whether it's bot lane, mid lane or top lane. If they took a bad trade or they need a push out and you know it's safe, Canyon knows that if he pushes in this wave, he can base with Nuguri, they can both get a good base, and then Nuguri can start snowballing this matchup when he TP's back. So Canyon walks in here, does a little bit of a chunk. Wunder has no TP, which is why that's so important, because now he just has to rely on his potions, and when Nuguri TP's back, not only is he going to have higher health, more potion, he's also going to have more gold to spend in the shop because he based later. He's going to get an extra longsword or an extra cloth armor, whatever he needs to actually win the matchup. He's going to have more gold. This is basically Damon's win condition, so Canyon identifies it really well, and this is where the whole game of League of Legends comes to fruition, the cross map. Now, once you make a play on one side of the map, it's very likely the enemy team will make a play on the other side of the map, and Damon know this. They've already warded the bush here on Jankos. They've spotted him out on the Krugs. Both junglers have taken away the opponent jungler's Krugs, and Damon is kind of scared of a cross map here. Showmaker's actually in a really good spot right now though, and G2 I think probably identified it before they went for this dive. You can see they poise for it, and there's 2 ways that you can approach this dive as a pro player. You can say, okay, let's all in the dive and actually trade 1 for 1 or 2 for 2 and make them lose the wave because the wave is worth upwards of 250 gold, or you can just try to bait out TPs, which is a very important thing in pro play as well. What they can do here is Mickey could E onto Ghost or walk up the Ghost and force a TP and flash out, and then they can back off and then use this Cap's TP advantage for later on in the game, whether it's 1 or 2 minutes down the line, and then look to make plays with that. So I think G2 know that Showmaker's running from base, and it's a really good TP timing for him, because if he does TP bot, he can run back to mid and catch the wave just in time. So they do look for it, but they back off. But I think the concept's there, right? In any other game, that's going to be a dive. Now this is such a good spot. You can see the top jungle base together. Jankos takes away the Raptors, which is respawn, and then the all-in and bot doesn't go in Damon's favor. I think that Mickey obviously gets both of them here. Jankos is there. I think it was a bit of an aggressive play from Damon. Maybe they expected Jankos to base, but the wave's not in a good state now for them, and the fact that Nuguri's TP'd back top is the whole reason that Canyon went up there. So the final sort of thought process concept that I want to look at here is how to salvage parts of the map by transferring their advantage. So we saw Mickey got a double kill. He just based with Jankos. Support jungle basing at the same time is super important. Mickey X picks up boots of swiftness so he can get to top faster, and as we saw in the context of the scheme of things earlier, Wunder has no potions, Nuguri has a Vamp Scepter because he base later he has more gold, and the wave is actually pushing into Nuguri. So Wunder's sitting here with no potions, he has the base, he's got a wave pushing into Nuguri, and the enemy jungle's leading topside, and Cap still needs to base. So watch what Jankos and Mickey do. They run together into the top side, because top lane is in a really bad spot right now. The wave's pushing into Nuguri, it's a losing matchup. If Camille falls behind a lot here, then Wunder is kind of out of the game. Perks is really safe bot, he can just farm max range, Ashe won't be 6 anytime soon. There's not really any CC to set up on them unless Set can kind of look for a dive, but if Perks keeps staying out the wave bot, there's no real play to be made bot, so Mickey knows that if he ran bot, there's nothing to really be done there. So he runs top with Jankos and looks for Nuguri, because this is a really big problem on the map they have right now. If they don't salvage Wunder on this wave, Wunder's going to be a really bad spot. So I think they're coming in here to push out the wave. They're not actually looking for a kill, but the fact that Nuguri queued in onto Wunder there is actually a big sign that he's probably going to die. Because realistically, if Nuguri played safe here, there's no real way to set up the gank until Wunder hits 6. They could look for a dive if Wunder does decide to push the wave in, but Showmaker has TP and he can lean to topside, and Canyon can hover there as well in case they look for the dive. So they go for the all-in. He doesn't actually W the Camille ult, but this is so huge. This is the biggest part of the game right now. Perks is losing a couple creeps in bot because Set is zoning him away. Caps is hovering with the TF ult in case there's a play to be made there, but that would be a 3v2, so he doesn't really want to go for that. Yes, Canyon catches the top wave, but the whole point is Wunder has been able to base. He's been able to crash the wave. He's not been frozen on. He's not been like hard traded on, and if Jankos and Mickey didn't do this play, then I think they would be in a really bad position. Hope you guys enjoyed the first kind of thought process breakdown. I just wanted to go through the early game just so I could show you guys how League of Legends unfolds and kind of how players communicate in a way where they need to stabilize lanes and they use advantages or information to make plays or reactive plays. You could see throughout this whole video, it all comes from Canyon spotting out Jankos. So Canyon spotted Jankos went to the bot grab, and then Caps thought he was safe playing bot side of mid. Beryl makes a really good play on the weak side, so he was kind of using G2's information against them. Yes, he did trade flashes, but it was super good play to force Caps' flash so Showmaker can get the push for the next sort of 5 to 6 minutes. And then you could see it was like a split map. Canyon kind of got Nuguri ahead. Even though both teams knew where both junglers were, you can use your jungle to get resources, whether it's a push out or a TP advantage or whatever it may be, to actually get a better base and such. And then on top of the fact that G2 actually used Damon Gaming's mistake in the bot lane all-in, which they thought perhaps they could have won, Mickey X gets 2 kills, he changes his items up, instantly buys swiftness, bases, runs top, and then he stabilizes the whole game for G2. It was a point where G2 had a winning bot, but they had a losing top just because of the early game jungle pathing, and then they used the information that they had to use the advantages that they got through bot, transfer it to top, to stabilize top, make sure the game's in a very good state for them, to shut down the win conditions and make the game stable. So I hope you enjoyed the videos in general. I hope you enjoyed the first kind of video I've made on YouTube of the thought process. I'll be doing way more of these, so if you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a comment or a like or subscribe, or just give me some feedback on what you thought of the video, what could be better, what you think I did bad or whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.